Starting with the holiday box as usual. Today is the 22nd. I always post the days that are missed on Twitter, by the way, and the days missed were not anything besides the ones that I have shown after the fact. I just want to throw that out there in case anybody wonders. Is this a new Pikachu coin? I cannot see the other Pikachu coin. It's out of my eyesight. I do believe this is a new Pikachu coin, so let me get a zoom on it. He's a shiny boy. I do believe this is a new version of the Pikachu coin. Do not think that this has been the Pikachu coin that's been being used. Pretty sure it's a different one. I do not know 100% for sure though, because like I said, the the Pikachu coin that is repeatedly being given out all the time in packs, I can't see it. I only had one repeat so far this year. I do believe this one's new though, because I don't remember him being this cute and shiny. So I think he's new. That is the guess I'm going with, is that he's new. Alrighty. Since last time. So I think I had Gabite last time. I did not have Shiny Gyarados. That's new. He's a shiny boy. Vanillish. I don't know. Was this one evolved last time? Probably. I know this was not. Fennekin is now Braixen. Braixen? I don't know how to say that. I have done this one, the Tinamo into electric or something like that, to Electros. And now he's a weirdness thing. Weirdness thing. I think that was it. Let me double check that there isn't any other ones I forgot about. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the rest of them I had last time. So, yep. Yeah, these guys, I haven't touched them since. I wanted to try to stream some, even though I'm still leveling. From what I understand, though, is when I proceed forward with the main storyline, there will be a way to level up Pokemon in the future that'll be a little bit more convenient using those shards that I have maxed out. I believe you could trade them for experience candies. Just left this piece of cardboard just sitting on my computer. Let's not. Anyways, I believe you could trade them for experience candies from what I was reading. Because there was talk about how you could farm Mega Shards. And I'm like, it's not hard. They are everywhere. You seriously can't run anywhere without running into them all the time. They're on top of the buildings. They're on the sides of the buildings. They're on the ground. They're like anywhere you look. Let's see. So Scraggy is close to evolving. I believe it's either 38 or 39. And then he'll be done. I think the other two need level 48. The Ice Cream Cone and the Dragon guy. And then the Dragonair needs the highest at needing 55. And I have definitively paid attention this time when I put Fennekin on the team. Fennekin was getting over 100 experience points from each rabbit that I took down. Like, a high number of experience points. The other Pokemon were getting the exact same experience points even after Fennekin leveled up into Braixen. Braixen, I can't pronounce it, but even after Fennekin evolved, they still were getting the same amount of experience points. Specifically Gabite, who I was monitoring that they were getting 33 consistently, occasionally 38 whenever one of the rabbits randomly spawns a little bit higher of a level versus the typical spawn. They do vary slightly. But since his experience points, it is a he, I think. Are you a he? Yes, you are a he. Good. So his level hasn't changed. He's still level 36. Scraggy leveled up to mess with me. This one was leveling up. Because obviously, it was level 14. It is no longer that. It is level 22. So I said, okay. The points being distributed to the rest of the party has not changed, despite Fennekin gaining a higher level and then evolving and continuing to gain a higher level. If one of these rabbits would show up already, I could show you what I mean. So I don't sound like I'm just losing my mind here. There is definitive proof that this game is giving less experience points the higher level that your Pokemon is. Which is not fair. In any other game, if you beat a level 5 Goblin, it will give you the experience of a level 5 Goblin. It doesn't change despite what level you are. See, Finnick Braxton, or however you say it, is not getting over 100 points. They're getting 62 points. Or 70 when you get a special buddy. Not special as in shiny, which I wish it would. I've beat up so many rabbits at this point, I don't think I'm getting a shiny one unless I somehow or another manage to get somebody to send me the starters so that I can get the shiny charm. Shiny difficulties aside, that's definitive proof the higher level your Pokemon is, the less experience they get in combat. Which naturally means the higher the level your Pokemon is, the longer it's going to take to level up, even whenever compared to other Pokemon games. You used to be able to spend a certain amount of time leveling up in a Pokemon game before, and it was reasonable. However, now that they have implemented this system that is broken, it's no longer fair or fun. It takes away from what you expect to receive. If you're supposed to get 100 experience points for defeating a Bunnelby, or no, Bunnery. Bunnelby's in the other area. Bunnery. If the Bunnery is supposed to give you 100 and some experience points, it should consistently give you 100 and some experience points. It shouldn't be like, oh wait, no, you're level 36 or whatever. Yep, 36 now. You only get 33. Because that's not how it works in any other game. Any other game, if a particular enemy, like the level 5 Goblin gives you like 5 experience points in like a Final Fantasy game, for example. You defeat the level 5 Goblin and you are level 1, you get 5 experience points. That might actually level you up, depending on what game you're playing. Let's just say it leveled you up. The next level 5 Goblin you defeat gives you 5 experience points. It shouldn't take away from how many experience points you get just because you leveled up. No other game does this. Just this one. Every other game is consistent. You figure out that a certain enemy gives you a certain amount of experience points. It doesn't matter what level you are. You might need more experience points, but you're still getting the same amount of experience points from that enemy. Dragon Quest I, for example, that's the most recent RPG that I can remember actually looking at the experience point totals that I was getting. There was a bat. The bat would give me consistently 10 experience points. I, at some point, was like level 15. I couldn't defeat a particular boss that was getting on my nerves. So I decided to level grind. I realized that the bat was giving me 10, while the slimes were giving me 2. So I went over where the bats were and consistently tried to get the bats to spawn. And every time a bat spawned, it would give me 10. And now it might have took maybe 10 bats to level up, but it didn't change how many experience points it gave me. It gave me 10 experience points back whenever I was level 5 and trying to get to level 10, so I had a chance in the first dungeon. Yes, I overleveled in the game, by the way. But that was what I was playing the original version of the game. Well, I guess it's the mobile port. I was having difficulties in that game because that game is a little hard sometimes. Some enemies are stronger than others. And since you have no party members, it's kind of a case of, oh man, I gotta beat up everything myself. I better level up until I can at least heal myself. Which is kind of why I overleveled. I was like, I need to be able to actually get somewhere. As I did try to take on the first dungeon, like, on level 2, and promptly got my butt kicked. And promptly had to start over because I had not made a save. And I went, there's no autosave? But I have definitively proved to myself, this game cheats. It is not fair. The amount of experience points you get depends on what level you are, rather than what level the Pokemon you're fighting is. That is not how it's supposed to work. That is backwards. It's supposed to consistently be, if you defeat a certain level of a certain Pokemon, they always give you a certain amount of experience points. That's always how it worked in every other Pokemon game, except for Let's Go. Let's Go has its own mentality. But Let's Go is forgivable because of the fact that you are just throwing balls at stuff, and you could catch multiple copies of it and get more free Pokeballs to keep doing so. And you can beat the whole game by just using Pikachu. Or Eevee, depending on which one you're playing. Literally, if you stick to just using your starter the whole time, and you don't go out of your way to catch the same Pokemon multiple times, like you just catch one of every single Pokemon, and you make sure and battle every single trainer, you will beat the game with very little problem. The day cycle changed while I was zapping it. Darn it. I don't know if it would give me experience or not. Well, the bunny's gone, so hopefully it gave me the experience. I do not know. Yeah, I felt I should point that out, that the game quite literally is cheating. Very, very simple. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because I had suspected it was, but I hadn't actually paid attention to the experience totals in order to prove it one way or another. Like, well, maybe experience goes back into the other Pokemon on the team. No, it does not. The experience simply just goes away. Which isn't fair. The experience should remain the same because the amount of experience needed for each level up increases. The Pokemon easily increases how much it needs. Like, I can show you just with these Pokemon alone. So, this Pokemon debate here. Alright, so let me look. I'm trying to see like what level you're 29. 40. Okay. So like that one's 23,232. This one's level 29. It's been halfway through its levels. It still needs more than Braixen. Just to prove to you, the fact is, the higher the level of the Pokemon, the more experience it needs in order to evolve. Or level up, or whatever. They need to level up to evolve in order... They have to level up in order to evolve. And in order to level them up, you need experience points. And since they give you less experience points when you're a higher level, it takes even longer. That's not fun. That's not fair. And that's not the way it's supposed to work. It's never worked that way in any other game. I can't think of a single time that a game has done this. I actually am curious enough to Google this. Let's see, are there... Jeez. It's the less experience receive in battle. Those are just... Those don't have leveling. That doesn't count. Alright, so it looks like only 2 games, Fantasian and Triangle Strategy, and it's over only if you're like over leveled. The Pokemon I'm looking at the experience points on specifically do not have an over leveling, because right now my level cap is supposed to be 40. So I specifically was looking at a level 36 and a level 23 Pokemon. The level 23 Pokemon and the level 36 Pokemon are consistently getting less experience points than they did when they were a lower level. Is there any... Looks like there are some games that do it in the RPG stuff, but it's not extremely common, it seems. It's like, it's not enough to realize it like you would right there. And it looks like the games kind of tell you. Like, they'll straight up tell you that that area is a certain level, and going beyond that level reduces your experience gain. And that's not even the case here. This is one of the higher Wild Zone areas, Wild Zone 6. I mean, there are higher levels, but I don't really do good damage against them. That they consistently give the same amount of experience regardless anyways. Because I did check that with, what was it? Zone 8, yeah. Because that one, I can easily take out if I use a water Pokemon. Let's see, these Pokemon are not exactly helpful. So this would be the highest leveled area. And yeah, because I remember I consistently was not getting enough experience from beating up Slowpokes and Carvanha. I don't know how to pronounce that Pokemon's name. The Piranha Sharkfish. Did not give me any extra experience points anymore. Like, the experience points would go down the higher the level of my Pokemon were. There was inconsistent experience points on the board even when I was over there. Like, regardless what enemy I was fighting, where I was fighting it, on the game map, the experience points that were shown in the little bar, the little thing on the side, where they show you how much experience you gain from the battle, were not even. So it means that it did not matter what I was fighting or where I was fighting. Yeah, see, like, these buddies are levels 17 and 18. So a level 23 Pokemon, like Braixen or whatever, should still get its full amount of experience. It's illogical. I just can't make any sense of why this game is doing that. Like, I understand in the particular games I was looking at, they're strategy games, and they are designed that way. The ones that I mentioned that do that. Both of the specific games I listed are strategy-based games, and they don't really enforce leveling. They're more about using tactical advantage. Like using a bow and arrow on something that is flying, so to speak. That's always how tactical games have worked. They don't really reward a higher level. None of the games listed were like this game. You just kind of have open exploration. I think the only exception was like Dragon Quest XI, but I don't know that that's a bad thing for it. Simply, it's just like if an enemy is a low enough level below what level you are, of course it's not going to give you anything. Because at some point you need to move on in the game. It'd be silly to fight like a level 1 slime anyways, once you reach a certain point. I don't think I've ever over-leveled it in a Dragon Quest game. Granted, I've only beat Dragon Quest 1, even when I was just playing them, despite not actually beating them. I don't remember ever actually, like, level grinding in them. I was pretty consistently able to just kind of go where the game told me to, as long as I explored everything along the way and bought the new equipment I needed. Which was never particularly hard to do. I don't know, I feel like those games were pretty fair in the what they expect from you. They don't really expect you to grind, as far as I could tell. It might be that there's some areas you need to, but Like, number one had me grind to take out a particular enemy, and had me grind a little bit to get a healing spell, but even Final Fantasy does that to you sometimes. Oh, you want to use Cure? Well, you probably should be a little bit higher of a level before you move on, because you're gonna get your butt kicked. I think the only Final Fantasy that doesn't expect you to level up before moving on is probably 8. 8 pretty much is like, no, if you level up, everything else levels up. What? I think that's the only one that did that. Because they learned their lesson and the fact that everybody hated it. Like, I think the only thing people liked in 8 was the card game. Which, honestly, I didn't understand. I feel like no matter how old I am, like, I look at card games and I start going, oh, don't make me read all that. I don't care enough to figure that out. Like, unless it's simple and you're gonna show me how to do it, just please don't. I don't think it's required in 8 anyways. I know there is a requirement for it in 9, but it doesn't make sense anyways, so it's kind of a case of save and then hope for the damn best. For the most part, the standard RPG is where, regardless of what you're fighting, you get the same amount of experience, and you're fine. But chances are you're also not going to be over-leveling anyways. And it's not like I really am. I just want to evolve the Pokemon so I can move on and not worry about them anymore. And it's not even like it's the ones that are a high level that are gaining this reduced amount of experience. Some of the ones that are a regular level are getting a reduced amount of experience. So, I don't know. I feel like the game's just being unfair. Again, it would make sense if this was like, I don't know, a tactical strategy game. But it's not. It's Pokemon. Pokemon has always allowed you to just level up however you wanted, wherever you wanted, however long you wanted. That was a tactic. That was a tactic I've always used in Pokemon games, where I just level up the Pokemon to get them to evolve before moving on. And this is the first time that it's actually became an issue. Or at the very least, a noticeable issue. Like I said, I've played many RPGs, and while I may not have beat as many as I should, because I'm one of those people, I'll get like 3/4 through a game and then get distracted and go play something else. I've quit doing that, hopefully. And I think this game is making it hard to stick to it because of the leveling nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. I don't know why they made that part of the system. Yeah, any other RPG I've played, I've never had this kind of issue with. I was always able to level up fairly easily, and I don't remember getting less experience when fighting an enemy in any other game I've ever played. Now, mind you, I do own those 2 games I mentioned, the Fantasian and the Triangle Strategy. I've not played them. yet. And I feel like, see, Fantasia is definitely is not as much a tactical as Triangle Strategy. Triangle Strategy is definitely tactical map turn-based strategy game, and based on my time of playing Disgaea before, which I need to actually go back and finish one of these days, I don't tend to level grind. I tend to try to move forward as far as I can, saving between each map, until something ultimately stops me from proceeding, and then I either reevaluate my strategy, which is generally my first recourse is to try doing it again, but maybe do a different strategy. That doesn't always work. And then I resort to the, well, let's check the equipment. Let's check. Let's level up. Let's do the other stuff. I always try to do everything but level up. Just because, I don't know. In strategy games, my mind does not think to level up in them. I think to check the weapons and armor and units in the battle, their placement in the battle, who's fighting what order to fight the enemies in. I think Fantasian, though, is a normal turn-based game. But it sounds like there's, like, optional dungeons that allow you to, like, gain extra levels, and that's where the problem comes with the overleveling thing. You're not allowed to overlevel in them, which that might be fine. Generally, I'll check out, like, an extra dungeon the first time, but, like, I generally don't. I'm one of those people that I might put off the side content in an RPG until I reach the end of the game. Because I'm like, I'll do it later. And then later never comes. Tales of Grace's F is a very, very good example of that. There are optional extra dungeons with, like, specific weapons and armor available in them in treasure chests. And I literally was at the end of the game when I went, oh, I never went back and did that. I went back and did, like, half of them. I think I just did the ones for, like, the characters I knew I would use in my party. And then I was like, I don't know that I care to keep at this. There was no cutscenes hidden in those extra dungeons. And my characters were strong enough. I mean, there was enemies that gave them a little bit of a challenge, definitely. Especially towards the end. Like, they couldn't breeze through the enemies. They actually had to, like, fight them. But they weren't getting terribly injured each battle or anything. Like, I didn't have to heal after every battle. That's my standard. If I don't have to heal after every battle, we're good. If I can get through a certain amount of, if I can get through like 5 battles before I need to heal, then I'm not concerned about it. Especially if I have the ability to just keep using a ability to heal, and then the points to use said ability replenish themselves in normal battle. I'm not worried about it. And it becomes, I have a healer on the team, and then everybody else beats stuff up. And their job is to protect the healer. And that's about all it comes down to. Or in some cases, whenever it gets a little too chaotic, I take control of the healer and run them over to a safe corner of the battlefield and have them cast heal while running away from enemies. Every now and then you have to do that sort of thing. That's when you're like, oh, maybe I should level a little bit. Not that I did. 'Cause that's what it came down to in some of the battles towards the end. But I think they were technically optional battles. I wasn't really sure, so I just did them anyways. And they gave me some, like, ultimate weapons for some of the characters and some items that were kind of useful. That was about all that came down to. But that's the sort of thing I do with an RPG. I don't necessarily over-level or anything. It's only in Pokemon that I go to a certain level, but that's what's required to evolve the Pokemon. It's not like I'm choosing these levels of arbitrary randomness. And the game actively tells you to evolve all your Pokemon because you have a lady telling you to fill in your Pokédex. It's like, well, you can't tell me one thing and then reinforce another. It doesn't make any sense. It's inconsistent at best. And just completely stupid in the other recourse of things. But yeah, I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Why would you do that? I don't know. It's just something I never expected Pokemon to do. Like, I understand when challenging games do that. They do it for a reason. Because they want to be a challenge. But generally, if you put them, like, on easy or something, they generally are not too stickler about preventing you from leveling or something. They generally let you get as high a level as you want rather quickly. So, I don't know. I can't make sense of it. It defies the proper logic of what you would do in a game, basically. Like, Pokemon knows that you're going to level grind in it in order to evolve your Pokemon. So it doesn't make sense to punish you for doing so. That's all it comes down to, really. It's like, don't give me a reason to reach a higher level and then take away the ability to do so without spending, like, way more time than I should have to do it. Well, Lacey reached 37 finally. Oh, man. Yvette has to get all the way to, like, 48, I think. Which takes a lot longer than you think it would. Alright. I'm not sure how much longer I can keep going with this, because it is kind of boring to just level grind without doing anything else. I got my rave about the leveling out of my system. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I don't know. Wait for one more set of bunnies and then I'll end the stream and recording, because there's not much excitement in just level grinding. And there's really not much to show except for the Pokemon once it evolved. Which I can always just show that next time once they're all evolved, hopefully. I mean, we're almost there. It just unfortunately takes a while. Takes longer than I want it to. Let's put it that way. But we're getting close. We're down to just 4 that need to be finished before I can move on. Oh, pardon me. See, this is the problem. Whenever I'm just level grinding and not doing anything else, I start yawning, I start getting tired and sleepy. I'm just like, okay, can't fall asleep. Gotta stay awake. That's why I have to do something else when I'm doing it. That's why I can't stream the whole leveling process. It's just too boring. Oh, excuse me. No matter how I look at it, I just can't. And I don't want to be on stream sleeping. Because I have before fallen asleep when leveling just because it's not the most exciting thing. It's just so repetitive what you do that at some point it's just like, hey. Alright. I'm going to continue this off stream, obviously. Hopefully, I will have it done by next time so that we can move on. Or at least be down to just one of them. If I can just get down to one of them, that will be enough for me to go ahead and just move on. That's basically my goal at this point. Just at least get down to just only one of them needing level up. Until next time. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.